Hi, this is Nishad Shafi reporting live from COP29 here in Baku in Azerbaijan. As this COP is known as the Finance COP, the big discussion is around finance. The new quantified goal on finance has been discussed and people are discussing the text to operationalize the framework, and we hope it's ambitious enough.
Building on last year's momentum at COP28 in Dubai, where countries agreed to transition away from fossil fuels, this year's event focused on two game-changing areas: climate finance and carbon markets. The biggest headline, climate finance. Nearly 200 countries agreed to a landmark deal, the new collective quantified goal with triple annual climate finance commitments from $100 billion to $300 billion by 2035, with a broader ambition to mobilize $1.3 trillion per year from public and private sources.
On carbon markets, there have been significant strides after almost a decade of discussion on carbon markets on Article 6 implementation. We have now an agreement to move forward.
Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Countries have now a framework to trade carbon credits through bilateral agreements, while a new UN-supervised mechanism under Article 6.4 ensures transparency in emissions and reduction projections.
A big setback was on collective global stocktake. There were no consents on how to move forward from last year's global stocktake discussions at Dubai at COP28, and it has been moved to COP30 in Brazil.
One of the biggest disappointments out of COP29 is how the final climate financing target really missed the mark. Developing nations pushed for more funding to help them bridge the gap between climate impacts and their ability to adapt and mitigate against climate change, and the developed nations pushed back in terms of what that actual number should be.
For the first time, a carbon border adjustment was debated at COP29, a sign of evolving global strategies. COP29 also delivered on Energy Day pledges, and some of the highlights are the Global Energy Storage and Grids Pledge, which aims for a six-fold increase in storage capacity to 1,500 gigawatts by 2030, essential for a net zero future. Then the Green Energy Zones and Corridors Pledge is fostering international collaboration on renewable deployment and infrastructure. And the Hydrogen Declaration is setting the stage for a clean global hydrogen market by decarbonizing production.
There have been also discussions on political tensions in the Middle East, which also had significant impacts on the discussions around climate action, climate security, etc. I believe the COP also showcases how difficult it is to discuss the climate action at a global level, even though reaching an outcome is necessary, but what we achieve should not be less than an agreement that is inclusive and ambitious enough.
The larger implication is how this could affect and strain relationships between developing and developed nations moving forward, further widening the gap between these two parts of the world.
While ongoing discussions about accelerating renewables, supply chain challenges, and nuclear power will continue into next year, COP29 undeniably moved the needle on climate finance. The road is long, but this year's agreements give us a momentum, and all eyes now turn to COP30 in Brazil, where the world will look to build on these successes and push even further.